Would I buy the Gen 4 Tacoma when it comes out? Well, good morning, everybody. How are you today? Pretty good here. So would I buy the Gen 4 Tacoma when it comes out? You know, first of all, let me say that I don't expect to see a Generation 4 Toyota Tacoma until probably late 2024 into 2025, somewhere in there. You know, it's about a 3-year time span, I guess, after they finish the Tundra, which is going to be a 2021 model, last I heard. So that would put the Toyota Tacoma at 2024-ish. So there's quite a bit of time to consider this. You know, it's 2021, so that's 3 years, right? I have a 2020 for anybody that didn't know. So, you know, by the time 2024 rolls around, or 5, it'll be 4 or 5 years old. Now, I've said since the beginning that I'm going to keep this truck until it dies, right? But you know, there's always things that can happen, right? I mean, if the truck has mechanical problems, yeah, I'm not keeping it. If this new Toyota Tacoma is revolutionary and is just so good that I can't pass it up, well, you know, I'm only human, right? And I'm a truck enthusiast, so if they twist my arm by coming out with something that is absolutely marvelous, well, then I can't be responsible for what I might do. So, you know, thinking about that, what does it need to be? I mean, you know, first of all, this truck is a manual transmission. And again, unless the truck was just phenomenal, it would have to have a manual transmission. I like having a manual transmission in this truck, and I'm not looking at going back to an automatic. Again, unless it was just a phenomenal new truck. So it would have to have a manual. That would disqualify it for me right away. And I gotta say, I'm not ruling out the possibility of there being a manual in the next version, but man, I think it's highly, highly unlikely that we're still gonna have a manual Tacoma, but we shall see, we shall see. So beyond that, I mean, from a power standpoint, and this is where Toyota could really twist my arm, right? I mean, we've got, what, 279 horsepower in this truck right now. I think it needs to be more in the 300 horsepower range, right? So if Toyota came out with a 300 horsepower plus Toyota Tacoma, it would be hard for me not to at least take a second look at it, right? Of course, it depends on what they do with it. You know, I think there's more power to be squeezed out of the engine that's in this truck right now, and it's more a matter of the tune, the way that Toyota has it set up, right? So it's not to say that they couldn't come up with something a little bit less, you know, 280, 290. I would hate to see that, but 280, 290, something like that, and tune it, you know, in a way that you're going to get more out of it, like the Jeep Gladiator. You know, I've said this many times on the channel. Fiat Chrysler has done an awesome job with the Jeep Gladiator and pulling out as much power, I think, as they can get out of that pretty much same size engine. Toyota needs to do the same thing. We'll see if they actually do it. Who knows? Along those lines, I think if an automatic is the only option, which again, I think it will be, it's got to be an 8-speed transmission. And I don't see any way possible that Toyota wouldn't come out with an 8-speed transmission. It just wouldn't make sense to me if they maintained the current 6-speed. You know, it's almost archaic at this point. When I sit here and I think about that and I say it out loud, the 6-speed transmission, it feels very old, very dated, right? And certainly Toyota can't come out with a redesigned new Tacoma and still carry a 6-speed transmission. I just don't see that happening. Let's talk about the rumored turbos, right? What if they come out with a Turbo 4? You know, something like what Ford is doing, you know, with the Ranger. Although I've heard rumor that they're coming out with a 6 for the Ranger, so we'll see. But let's say that Toyota goes that route. You know, I don't have a big issue with turbos myself. I know a lot of people complain about that. They're concerned about the longevity of it. How long is it going to last? Is it going to be reliable? You know, probably because I don't keep my vehicles generally all that long. You know, 2, 3, 4 years would really be pushing it for me. So is that turbo, given the number of miles that I drive, which is pretty slim anymore, particularly in the Tacoma, because it's really my channel truck, you know? And I split time with other vehicles. So I just don't put tons and tons of miles on any one vehicle anyway. So I'm not so concerned that the turbo would be a problem for me. It really would go back to power. And when I say power, I should probably define that. I'm not saying that I have to be able to pull a locomotive with it. I'm not talking about that kind of power. I'm talking about really, I guess, acceleration, oomph off the line. You know, when I hit the gas pedal, or it's really an accelerator pedal now, I want it to go, right? I don't want any lag, and I don't want it to feel like it's trying to get out of its own way, right? I want it to go. Now, what's interesting, if Toyota, and keep in mind, this is 3 or 4 years down the road, we're more into the electric car market by then, right? Who knows what breakthroughs there will be between now and then. So let's say that the electric car, or in this case, truck market, keeps advancing, and maybe Toyota comes out with an electric Tacoma. Now, that would satisfy my desire for power or quickness off the line, right? Because when you hit the pedal with an electric vehicle, they are instantaneous. There's no lag. They go. And that would be awesome in the Tacoma, and that would be something that I would really have to consider, right? I mean, if they actually did that and produced an all-electric Tacoma. And I'm not talking about one of these hybrid doohickeys, right? I don't want a gas/electric vehicle. I want the whole 9 yards. If we're going to go electric, let's go electric, and give me all the benefits that come with it in the way of acceleration and quickness. That would be pretty awesome. And I think for me, I would really have to consider that, right? Now, the last thing I think you have to think about, and by the way, I'm assuming that we're going to have all the latest and greatest options and gadgets and things like that, because I can't see Toyota coming out with a redesigned Tacoma and not having the latest and greatest tech in the inside. So I'm going to say that's a given, and it's all going to be there. But the last thing to think about is it would be a first-year vehicle, right? And if Toyota does something really cutting edge, it's going to be new technology. And the thing you always have to be concerned with is reliability. Now, I mentioned that I don't keep my vehicles for multiple years, right? So it's not that big of a concern for me. However, I have no desire to be sitting in the shop having my new truck fixed any more than anybody else, right? Regardless of how long I plan on keeping it. So that's a concern I have, in that if they go with something revolutionary, something cutting edge new, that it's not going to be tried and true and tested, and I might have those first year hiccups, you know? That first year, we're the guinea pig syndrome. Hopefully not, but you know, it seems to be that way with almost every new redesigned model, irregardless of who puts it out. And I think the reason is that you just can't do enough real life testing. It's got to be in the hands of the public. They have to put it through its paces, do what we do with them, right? To actually know how reliable they're going to be and fix any potential problems that may arise. Anyway, I just wanted to get on here, talk about that a little bit. For me, it's really going to depend on just those few things. It's not a lot, really. So we'll see what happens. I'm curious. Are you going to jump on the Gen 4 Tacoma when it comes out? No matter what? Leave a comment. Let me know. Also, real quick, I have 2 other channels. RobMotive JT, all about my 2020 Jeep Gladiator, a first-year model. And RobMotive Civic, about my experiences with the Honda Civic Type R and the Honda Civic hatchback. Do me a favor, check them out. If you're interested, why not subscribe? Don't forget to click that notification bell so that you don't miss out on any upcoming videos. And do me a favor, smash that subscribe button on the way out. Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there. Bye.